Good morning, everyone. Welcome to, I guess we're not live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with Carlson. I hope you're having a fantastic day. The temperature wasn't too bad this morning. Got a sweater on. My attire has been a little casual the last few weeks. Not that I'm not a casual guy normally, but normally I like to wear suits. Some of you may know from watching our other social media feeds or videos that we post, you might have noticed that our house is torn to shreds right now, and we're in the middle of doing some work on it. So my closet is in packing boxes, those big wardrobe boxes. Most of my clothes are in there. The rest are scattered on top of those boxes. So it's kind of a crazy setup that we're going through. But I digress. I hope you're having a beautiful morning, getting ready to celebrate the birth of Christ on Friday morning. I hope you're able to take a few days off, or at least one day off, to spend with friends and family and have a safe and happy holiday. I'll give you some more on that later. Hope you're enjoying a nice, warm, hot, I guess that's kind of contradictory, a hot cup of strangely warm coffee. My producer, Dan, has decided to flake out on me again. Although he just texted me, he's supposed to be busy. He must not be that busy if he can text. All right, coffee's great this morning. We're moving along. Today's topic, budgeting. The year end is coming up, and a lot of people like to come up with a lot of New Year's resolutions. That's what you call it, New Year's resolutions. So whatever it may be. One of the biggest problems that I see with New Year's resolutions is that they aren't measurable and specific enough. So, and my wife is on this regularly. You have to measure it and be specific. You can't say, I'm going to go to the gym more. You can't just set a goal that says, now, don't get me wrong, baby steps into something. If your goal is to go to the gym more, lose weight, eat better, save money, do those things. Setting those broad budgets is a good idea to start working toward it. But in order to really keep yourself accountable, you want to have I don't want to say stringent, but you want to have a measurable goal. I want to lose 5 pounds this year. I want to save $1,000 this year. I want to save to go on a trip at the end of the year. I want to know exactly where my money's going. I can't tell you the amount of times I meet with people that work hard, earn money, and they're not sure where it's going. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of tools, some for my business customers and also some individual tips and tricks. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to start with business budgeting. Now, business budgeting, and this is going to be very broad. So you want to sit down with your accountant, your bookkeeper, your office manager, talk about these things. The first of the year is a good time to start. Right now, you should have at least 10 or 11 months worth of your profit and loss, so you can look at almost a full year. And you can do this one of two ways from a business. You can do it on a monthly basis, so you're looking at variations month to month. You can do it annual. I think month to month should be a minimum for you to look at. And as you're sitting down looking at your business expenses for 2020, January to October, November, whatever you've got available right now, try to figure out what some of those things range month to month. There's going to be two broad categories, fixed expenses and variable expenses. I was just reviewing with one of my great friends and customers last week, their budget so far. We've only been working on it since October, but we're trying to adjust it from month to month as we figure out what the actual expenses are going to be. So once you get almost a year down and you can look at things, let's talk about some of the fixed categories first. Fixed categories are rent. It's going to be the same every month. If you have a loan payment, it's going to be the same every month. If you have a receptionist or some fixed hourly person that works 40 hours a week, it's pretty much going to be fixed. Now, in this particular instance, the client that I've been working with, there are two categories of employees. So they have the fixed cost side, electric, rent, things like that are vary a little bit, but over the course of the year, you could know what they're going to run from month to month. But they have two categories of employees. One employee is full-time, let's just for argument's sake say they sit at the front desk and they welcome customers that come in, they do appointment scheduling and things of that nature. Then we have workers that are variable, meaning that if this is a personal service type business, so they have workers that are only working if they have appointments to meet with their clients. In this regard, we're talking about potentially hair salons, nail salons, massage, things like that. So there could be some variable costs here. Those are a little bit harder because you don't know exactly how many bookings you're going to have for the month. I mean, in a perfect world, we would have all that scheduled out for the next month, and some people do, but kind of a variable thing where you're not really sure unless you have the customers coming in to get it. So you kind of have to adjust that on month to month. And you can see the seasonal variation of that as you look at your sales and your historical numbers. So let me show you real quick. I'm going to see if I can switch over to my fancy dancy picture in picture. Look, there I am. See me? And we're going to look down here. Okay, so this, let's see if I can move me over to another side. Oh, look at that. I am tech savvy producer extraordinaire. So this is a simple, sorry, I've been having some trouble with my laptop, like cutting on and off. So I'm not really sure what that is, but if it does cut off, I apologize. So this is a simple spreadsheet in Excel, and you can work this any way you want. If you haven't used Excel before, let's just run down some of these things. So I'm going to be typing here, and I'll just type things like rent, electric, payroll, water, garbage. I'm an accountant, by the way, not a speller. That's why I like spell check. And then across the rows, these are set up in columns going this way, identified by letters, and rows going up and down by numerical identification. You could put January, February, March, okay? And then start filling out the numbers. So my rent is $1,000. I know it's going to be $1,000. There it goes. Man, sorry for that technical glitch. Not really sure what's wrong with my laptop. Let's say electric is going to be $200. Now, if you really get good, you can grab this. This is not a tutorial on that, but you can grab and drag that. Say payroll is $1,000. And we're just going to keep these fixed, but you see where I'm going, where you can fill these out and fill these items out. And then at the bottom, you have total expense. And you want to put a formula in here to add these up. I'm doing it manually, but you can use the tools too. You can get an Excel tutorial to help you with that. I'm just kind of showing you how to lay it out. You lay it out like this, and you can look at. Now, what you can do once you set this budget up is you can insert columns. You could have set it up this way, but you can insert columns so that this would be January, this would be budget, and actual. Then at the end of the month, when you go through your financials, you could fill in the actual column. You could even get a little bit more fancy. Now, if you use QuickBooks or some sort of accounting software, you can look at it inside that, and you can set up budgets in there. It's actually a pretty cool budgeting tool. So let's say rent was $1,000. Electric was $225, and payroll was $997. Okay, and I'm going to drag this total over here. Now, the cool thing about using a spreadsheet is that now anytime I change one of these numbers, if I change that to 500, it changes my number at the bottom, and that you can't see now because the laptop is messing up on me. So the other cool thing about the spreadsheet is I can do a variation calculation. So I can say, was my actual over or under budget by simply subtracting those and running that down the columns. And you can see that I'm under budget in one category, then minus, and I'm over budget in the electric column. So it gives you a really good idea, a really good picture on a month-to-month basis on how you're doing and how your expenses are. Now, you can certainly use a spreadsheet for business or personal. This is kind of the business format that we use, monthly actual. If you use something like QuickBooks or any other sort of accounting package, you can run a budget to actual by period. It's a little tricky, but you can run it by different periods or the year and consolidate those numbers to look at them. And some people find that it's easier to develop the spreadsheet in a tool like Excel and then port that over to port that over to QuickBooks or your other accounting software. So the next tool I want to talk about is, and look, well, let me give you one more thing. Well, we'll talk about that at the end. I want to show you, let's see this. Now, this is a new one. I'm going to connect my phone because there's some cool phone tools too that can help you with budgeting. This is more of the personal side. And as many of you know from watching our video a few weeks ago, we're now a Dave Ramsey endorsed local provider for tax. So we have gone through a lot of training. We work with the Ramsey organization on a monthly basis. Talking to some of our peers around the country that are also in accounting and work with Dave Ramsey. And one of the tools that Dave has, I'm not sure where I plugged this in. Let me try look, Morgan. And I'm going to turn picture back on. Oh, it's not going to work. It must not work with that button. Oh, there I am. Look at me. All right, my phone just timed out again. Let me see if I can open this. This is cool. Sorry, my daughter grabbed my phone last night. So here we are. This is my cell phone, and this is a tool that the Ramsey organization has that you can download for free. It's called the Every Dollar Budget. If you haven't watched any of Dave Ramsey's videos, hop on YouTube and search Dave Ramsey Every Dollar, and he'll show you by every dollar, he literally means budget every dollar. This tool gives you a really great way to easily go in. You can see what you spent, you can see how much money you have remaining, and you have the money that you planned. And you go to each category, and it's pretty cool. You say, I want to give to my church, I'm going to give, and you can pull it up so that it shows you what the due date is, if it's a bill that you have, like a car payment or electric bill or rent, mortgage payment. You can show those things here. You can put the dollar amount in. You can add to this. We can simply put, I'm going to give money to the church this month. You can say my mortgage payment is going to be $1,000. And then you can tie this into your bank accounts and put them up so you can connect bank accounts so that it's pulling stuff in from your checking account, your savings account. If you're using Dave Ramsey, you shouldn't connect credit cards because he doesn't like that. But if you're trying to pay him down, budgeting and sticking to a tight budget will really help you pay those down. So you can attach those so it'll bring the actual numbers into you. And you can't see me looking down and clicking on this or pointing at it because you can't see any of that. But on here, you can put all of those items in. Then if you attach your checking account to it, you can see I'm over budget by $2,000 because I don't have any income, right? But you can budget all of those things. Then you go in and see what you spent. So let's say on church, wrong button. On church, I guess it's only going to pull the actual in. So you would put the transactions in here and say 500. I'm going to categorize it, budget item, church, say done and save. Then when I go to my budget and see spent, I spent 500 and I have remaining in that budget category another 500. Now I didn't put income in there, so it's going to show the negatives. But the cool thing about this is it gives you the tie into your bank account, so there's kind of no cheating on there. If you do utilize cash, then you're going to have to enter those transactions in here on cash. And be very careful with that, because even going to a restaurant, if you spend $10.75, if you don't put $10.75 in there, say you put $10 in, then you're going to short yourself 75 cents. If you did that 10 times in a month, $7.50. Something to think about. You're going to lose dollars there. And that adds up on a daily, weekly, monthly basis till you get to the end of the year. So something you really want to look at. You can check out this Dave Ramsey app on your cell phone. It's called the Every Dollar Budgeting Tool. And it's a pretty cool one, I think, that lots of people could utilize. And sorry, trying to get this 2-inch thick HDMI cable out of my way and all my other tech. So the Dave Ramsey Every Dollar tool is a great thing to keep track of your personal budget and enter all your items in. Attach your bank accounts so that they feed in and categorize things. The most important part about keeping track of expenses, whether you're in your business or your personal, is categorizing them properly, making sure they hit the categories that you want them to go to. For instance, if you're a small business and you give $150 to the Big Brothers and Big Sisters or the Children's Museum for a golf tournament, or Highlands County Citrus Growers Association for a tea sign sponsorship at their golf tournament, a lot of people will categorize that as a charitable contribution in their business books. And it's really not a charitable contribution. In that particular instance, it's for advertisement. You're paying them to put your name on a sign and display it in front of a bunch of people. So that's an advertising expense. So just that's a simple common thing that businesses do. They'll create a category called charity, and it's really not. Charity would be if you walked into Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and gave them $500 for no reason, you got nothing in return. And actually, if you get something in return, like advertising or food or anything, it's a different show. Then it kind of loses its charitable contribution. I don't know if that lint's on my shirt or on the camera. You lose part of that charitable contribution benefit anyway. So you can't really do that. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about with budgeting is that we like to keep it very specific, try to keep it tight. Keep track of every dollar. Businesses, you're dealing with larger dollars typically than the average American. So on your personal budget, so it's really more important to keep track of the personal side. That allows you to save more and give more. And those two things really help community overall and at large, and help you in your heart. So make sure to do that. Something to think about during the Christmas season, the charitable mindset a lot of people come into just during this season. If that's you, please give. But the more you budget and the more you keep track of your money, you're able to put it aside, set aside money for specific things, whether it's that vacation you want to go to, whether or not you're saving for a new car, saving for a new computer, saving for your kids' college. Budgeting allows you to do that more. And it's eye-opening to see. And I'll use Jessica and I as an example. We first got married. One of the first things we did was sit down and start to go over a budget. And as accountants, sometimes we don't always practice exactly what we preach, but I do keep track of this stuff really tightly, and I categorize everything personal and professional. So Jessica said, how much do you spend on groceries? And I said, I don't know, maybe $150 a week, $300 or $400 a month on groceries. And that's really for, at that time, we weren't living together. So that was really for me and when the kids came home for the weekend, right? So it wasn't that much. But when we went back and looked at my actual numbers, I was spending maybe $500 or $600. These aren't real numbers. We're just making them up. But it was about 20 to 25% more than what I thought it was in my head. So putting this stuff on paper or putting it in a thing like Every Dollar or a spreadsheet is cool. But what's really, really, really powerful is once you get the budget set, look at your comparisons and see what you're actually spending and keep track of it every month. The biggest part of our business is developing financial statements for our customers on a monthly basis. And I can tell you that probably the majority of those customers never, ever look at that, except 2 times, when they get to tax time at the end of the year and when they need to give it to the bank to see what's going on. Other than that, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And I really wish we could, and we've been trying to develop this, more of the planning side of business and working with our customers to help them grow and budget and figure out where they want to be in 1, 5, and 10 years, and how can we get there and what can we do to save things. And some of my customers actually come in and say, look, we're thinking about, I had 2 or 3 of them this year, thinking about Christmas bonuses after my show, and how do we calculate that and whether or not we can afford it. So we sat down and looked over their books to see if it made sense for them. So a really cool thing to do is utilize us. It's what we're here for. We're here to help you run more efficiently your business. And if we can, we'll help you with some personal coaching too on the financial side, whatever we can do. I wanted to thank you very much. This is the last show before Christmas. I will be back next Monday. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be. Maybe it'll be fun and jovial, like all my shows, right? But we'll come up with something before Christmas. I thank you all for coming. If you're hopefully everyone's going into the holiday season with a smile on their face, celebrating the birth of Christ with a happy mood. But if you're not, and if you've lost a loved one at some point during this year, our prayers go out to you. We hope that you have a safe, happy, and warm time with your family and friends during this Christmas holiday season. And I'm in Florida this year. Normally I'm in Vermont during Christmas, but thank you to the Rona. I am home. It's great. I get to go to a few Christmas parties. But I wanted to say special shout out and Merry Christmas to everyone that watches my show. We love you all. If you need to get more information, please give us a call at 863-382-4141. Check us out online at carlsonaccounting.com. You can make an appointment with me right there on the webpage. Just click the button and set up an appointment for us. If there's anything we can do to help you out now, getting ready for next year, please give us a call, email, chat, whatever you like, whatever works for you. Enjoy your morning with a nice warm cup of strangely warm coffee. And God bless, and we're off, maybe, if I can figure out how to stop it. And I'll try that real quick. I get to that, and we're out. Merry Christmas, everyone, and God bless. Butter on. My attire has been a little casual the last few weeks. Not that I'm not a casual guy normally, but normally I like to wear suits. Some of you may know from watching our other social media feeds